What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about Kibakichi 2. So I randomly picked this up a couple months ago. The first movie I just randomly found. I was at my local library. It was a few years ago, not quite a few years ago, but a few years ago, like 2 or 3 years ago. My local library, they would do this sale. They would call it the Friends Down Under book sale, and they would sell used books, but they would also sell used media. So I picked up a bunch of CDs there, and they would also sell DVDs, and I found a lot of cool stuff that I had never heard of before. One of the movies that I found there was the first Kibakichi, which had never heard of that movie in my life. I just saw the cover and I read the back and I was like, I have to buy this. I'm like, a Japanese werewolf samurai movie, sign me up. And then another movie that I found at that used book sale, was I found Night of the Creeps, which I didn't know anything about. I just saw the cover of that and I'm like, oh, this kind of looks like a horror movie. This looks kind of cool. And then Night of the Creeps turned out to be like one of my favorite movies of all time. I don't know if you all are familiar with Night of the Creeps, but you have Tom Atkins from, he's in The Fog, he's in Halloween 3, and he plays kind of a similar character to Halloween 3, where in Halloween 3 he's just kind of like just a total Chad. He's just sipping drinks. He's like, before he has to go, yeah, he always has to get a six-pack, and he's just macking on that chick so hard. He's just a player. He's just a cool dude. And then in Night of the Creeps, he's got that catchphrase. He's like, thrill me, it's Miller time. But thrill me, that's an iconic line. Tom Atkins rules, iconic actor. He's in all kinds of great stuff. He's in that My Bloody Valentine remake. He goes hard. Everything he's in, he just kills it. But anyways, yeah, I just randomly found out about that there. And the last movie that I found there, I found Hatchet 2 there, and like these other two movies that I'm talking about, I didn't know anything about the Hatchet franchise. I saw the cover, there was an axe on it. I said, wow, I'm into horror movies. Oh, there's an axe, it's called Hatchet. Oh, this looks scary. This looks like it's horror. I didn't know Daniel Harris was in it and Tony Todd, and I knew nothing about the franchise, so I just picked that up randomly, and I saw I saw the second one before I even saw the first one, but I eventually saw the rest. But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan ever of the Hatchet franchise, but I do enjoy those movies. Those are really cool movies. And yeah, I'm glad I found that there. I just randomly found out about it. I'm going off on a total tangent, but yeah, that's how I found out about the first Kibakichi, because I don't know how else I would have found out about it, because I really don't see that much about the first Kibakichi or the second Kibakichi online. So the second one, I haven't, like I said, I haven't seen a lot about it online. There's not a lot of videos about it, not a lot of reviews, and I don't think it's something that you can really rent. It doesn't really come on streaming. So like I said, I found the first one at the library a couple years ago, and then I did some research, and I knew there was a second one, but I just didn't feel like buying it at that time. I thought, I'd find it eventually, or it'd be on streaming eventually, or whatever. But then just randomly, a couple months ago, I found it at Disc Replay. I'm just looking at the DVD right now. I don't know if I showed you all, but I have it here. Hopefully that's in focus. Pretty darn cool cover, in my opinion. But yeah, like I said, I was at Disc Replay a couple months back with my brother, just browsing. I wasn't even gonna buy anything, and then just randomly I come across Kibakichi 2, and this is gonna sound like I'm such like a nerd or like such a loser, but I totally lost it in the store. Not totally, but I said to myself, I was like, fuck yeah. I was like, I said that out loud. I don't like to swear too much. I mean, I swear a little bit, but I don't try to, I try not to swear excessively, you know? But, and it, I don't want to be like inappropriate in the middle of a store, but I was hyped up, so I was just like, fuck yeah, Kibakichi too. Oh my goodness, they have Kibakichi too. What? Oh my goodness. And then I like ran over and showed my brother. I'm like, Kibakichi too. Oh my goodness. And he's like, dude, what are you even talking about? No, he was happy for me, but I probably look like a freakazoid. Like, who is this individual over here freaking out about what the heck is Kibakichi 2? It's just a DVD. I mean, this guy, he really lost his marbles. I don't know, he has to get it together. But yeah, I like how I just found these randomly. That's always fun because I'm a big fan of streaming. I absolutely love streaming. You can get almost any movie you've ever wanted to see for free, or if you pay, for a streaming service, it's really not that expensive, and you can get, almost infinite movies. Not really, but you know what I mean. But there is something about when you just walk into a store and you just randomly find something, when you just look at a cover, when that's like all you have to go off of is just a cover and a little synopsis on the back. That there's something fun about that. It's like a little treasure hunt, little I Spy situation, where it's a little hidden gem, a nice little come up, a nice little find. It's like if you find something cool at the thrift store, it's just, I don't know, there's something special about that in my opinion. So that was pretty fun to find out about those two movies that way. And like I was saying, that these movies are pretty obscure, and the only reason I really found out about them is because I just randomly found them. That's like something that I wanted to do on this channel. Like initially when I decided to start this channel, I really didn't have a plan. I didn't say like, it was just, I kind of made this channel on a whim. I always had the idea in the back of my mind, like, hey, it would be cool to do a movie review channel one day, because that's the majority of stuff that I watch on YouTube is movie reviews. It's really fun, in my opinion, to watch a movie, and then if I have like a couple favorite YouTubers and I like their reviews, so it's like I get to watch the movie and then I get to watch their reviews or listen to their reviews the next day. So it's like even more content. It's like, oh, I already like the movie, and then I get to listen to these YouTubers that I like talk about the movie and tell me their opinions, and I might learn some stuff that I didn't know, or get a different take on it. So I always, in the back of my mind, like, that's the type of stuff I like to watch. So I always, in the back of my mind, wanted to do a channel like that, but I just made this channel on a whim. But one of the things that I always thought of, if I did do it, that's what I'm saying. I'm getting to the point here. There is a point to this. I'll get into the movie eventually. I'm just going off into outer space, No, I'm just, you know what I mean. But anyways, whenever I thought about hypothetically making a channel, I always thought, if I made a channel, I would want to like shine light on movies that I feel like don't get as much attention as they deserve, because a lot of the times I would watch stuff and then I would go look up a review. Like that's what I don't do it as much nowadays, but back in the day, I'm talking about like a year ago or something. I sound like a gosh darn fool, but anyways, like I used to be really into, like, whenever I would watch a movie, I would just watch a million videos on it the next day. I'm not that crazy, but I still love watching movie reviews and watching behind the scenes stuff after I watch a movie. But anyways, I would watch a lot of obscure movies, not like intentionally I'm trying to watch obscure movies, but I would just find random movies, and then I would go like try to look up reviews or behind the scenes, and there would be like maybe like one or two reviews on YouTube, or there would be zero reviews, and in my opinion that was like kind of a shame. So that's always something that I thought, I was like, if I do ever make a channel, it would be cool to shine light on some more underrated movies, because then maybe if people do like these movies, do watch them, and they're trying to watch some reviews for them, then it'll actually be on YouTube. And me saying that, that's just an idea. That's just me being uh, optimistic. But I mean, probably with these movies, like probably no one will even watch the video. But I don't know. I just always thought that. I just thought that would be cool. So yeah, I just totally went off on a crazy tangent there. I don't know how long I've been talking, but that was something that I wanted to, when I was watching this movie, I was thinking that, and that's something I want to say in the review. So I'm actually going to get into the movie now. I know that was just a long rant about random stuff that had absolutely nothing to do with the movie, but I was just thinking that when I was watching the movie, so I'm about to get into the plot. I gotta take a sip first here. One moment. So the basic plot, so if you all are not familiar with this movie, it's basically a samurai werewolf movie. It's Japanese. I watched the dubbed version. There's a version with subtitles, but it's, you know, it's legit Japanese. I mean, that was super intriguing to me when I saw it, when I found the first one. I'm like, a samurai werewolf movie? Does another movie like that exist? I don't know, but that's an awesome premise, and I feel like they execute it pretty darn well. It's a pretty, these movies are a pretty fun time. But anyways, the basic plot: Kibakichi returns in this. He's just wandering alone like he does, looking badass like he does, and all while this is happening, in the beginning you see this, there's several antagonists. I don't remember their names and they're hard to pronounce. That probably sounds like I'm uncultured, but I don't want to butcher it and I couldn't find it online. Anyways, one of the antagonists, in the beginning, he is killing a bunch of innocent people, and I'll get back to that beginning later because it's awesome. But anyways, he's a bad dude, killing innocent people. He wants to kill Kibakichi. Kibakichi wants to kill him. There's another antagonist who is a werewolf like Kibakichi, and she wants to kill him and then kill herself because, you know, she wants to eradicate her own race. She thinks monsters are bad, so that's that. And then there's these three other antagonists, and they're monsters. It's you know, they imply that they're monsters earlier in the movie, but you don't see it until the end. Really, all the monster stuff doesn't happen until the third act, which I like, because there's a lot of story and a lot of it is slow, not in a bad way, because, you know, it's building up the characters, and it's building up to the third act, and there is action sprinkled throughout there, but once the third act comes, it's just explosive. Like, they go all out, and it feels like, it feels good. You know, it's not, some movies, they, you know, blow their whole load in the first act. I'm not trying to be vulgar, but it's just a term, you know, like they go too hard in the beginning, and then it'll never live up to that. This movie builds up, and then the ending is just insane. Just getting into spoilers, yeah, in the ending, all of the Kibakichi fights all the bad individuals, all the people who are monsters turn into monsters. The costumes and effects look awesome. The character designs are awesome. Uh, and something that's really cool is Kibakichi and this werewolf girl. They both fully transform, and there's this werewolf fight, which there's probably other movies where there's two werewolves fighting each other, but I don't, off the top of my head, I can't recall one. But even like that's even unique too. It's like a male werewolf and a female werewolf fighting, and even just the fact of just two werewolves fighting, I think is interesting, and that was a pretty cool showdown. All of the fighting in this movie is awesome. They're all pretty much samurai, so it's all sword fighting, it's all martial arts, it's choreographed really well. The gore is on point. It's like it's good gore, but it's almost comical because they'll just have blood like spraying out of their chest or blood just dripping out of their mouth like crazy. It's like it's so over the top, but I love it because this is pretty much a B movie, and there are some unintentionally funny moments, but for the most part, I just genuinely like this movie, and I think it's a good movie. It's really creative and unique, and I like it. It's a fun time. I think it kills it with the fantasy elements. Like the setting is really good, and it really like it really transports you to another dimension. It's like if you were on some, I was thinking that when I was watching it, I was like, man, if you were on some substances or something watching this, like it'll take you to another place. Like all the fantasy elements were on point. I'm just checking out my notes here. So yeah, I forgot to mention there's this blind girl. She is a love interest because Kibakichi saves her early on in the story, and she takes care of him, and they both kind of bond because, she's different because of her disability, and he's different because he has this monster side of him, and eventually she actually gets killed, which motivates him, makes him angry, makes him want to kill all these adversaries in the end. So I really like that romance. It didn't really go that far because she got killed before it could go that far, but that was like a cute little romance. I like that, and it was her death was good motivation for Kibakichi. Another thing, I think I already mentioned this, but I watched the English dubbed version, and I'm not saying this to make fun of the movie because there's no way you could do a dub to like a live action movie and make it perfect. It's always going to be kind of off and cheesy, but to be honest, watching the dubbed version added to my enjoyment because just some of the dialogue got lost in translation. Just because the mouth, the way they're mouthing the words doesn't look the same, and sometimes the actors, they might not sound like how you think the actor would sound. So that made it unintentionally funny and kind of added to my enjoyment of the film. Um, yeah, I keep looking at. I'm just looking at my notes. That's what I'm thinking. I do these little lists just to refresh myself. So something else that I like Kibakichi's costume. He has the same costume in this. He has this super big robe. It's all tattered, and he has this really cool hat. It's almost like a cowboy hat. Not really. It's hard to explain, but it's a super cool costume, super unique, super badass. I love it. I love that it's the same costume. If they changed it, I would have been real sad. So glad to see the same costume. He's looking badass as always. And another thing I want to talk about that I just found out is I was looking at IMDb, just trying to refresh my mind about the movie before I did this review. And so in the dubbed version, there's this monk. Well, I mean, he's in both characters, but the monk character in the dubbed version, he's actually voiced by this actor called, his name is Avi K. Garg. I hope I pronounced that right. I might have butchered that. I don't know. But anyways, I didn't recognize any of the actors, but I instantly recognized him because he's in all of the Caesar and Otto movies. I don't know if you all are familiar with those. I was talking earlier about kind of obscure stuff. Those are kind of obscure and lower budget, and they're kind of silly movies, but I genuinely really like all the Caesar and Otto movies. They have this one called Summer Camp Massacre, where they have Felissa Rose from Sleepaway Camp, and they're kind of paying an homage to summer camp horror movies. That one's cool. They have a Halloween one, which is kind of parodying like paranormal films and Halloween, and then they have a Christmas one that actually parodies the Silent Night, Deadly Night movies, and Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. So I think if you're a fan of horror movies, those are great parody movies to check out. They are super low budget, and the comedy is really lowbrow. It's a lot of slapstick comedy. It's goofy comedy, but I genuinely enjoy those. I think they're funny. I think they're a fun time. So I don't know. I'm just mentioning that because I randomly saw him and I'm like, hey, I know that guy. I've seen that guy. So yeah, if you haven't seen those, the Caesar and Otto movies, check them out. I think all of them are free on Tubi. So yeah, definitely check those out. But I'm looking at my notes here. It seems like I talked about everything that I set out to talk about. So when it comes to a recommendation, I would say definitely check out both of these movies. Check out the first one, check out the second one. I don't know where these are available. Maybe you can rent them somewhere online. Maybe you can stream them somewhere online. Maybe you can find them on YouTube for free. Try to do that. Maybe that's bad that I'm saying that on YouTube. I don't know what the rules are. Who knows? But yeah, if you could, even if you can find them on DVD, if you could pick them up cheap, I mean, if you can find them for like $5 or even $10, pick them up. I mean, I don't know if these are rare. I don't think so. I don't think they're going for like a lot. They probably aren't going for a lot. I got this for like $2, and the other one I got for like $1. So yeah, don't go like spend like $50 for these. But if you can find them for like $5 or $10 on eBay or something, I would say they're worth checking out. So yep, that's I'm just cutting it off right now, abruptly. But yeah, if you can find these movies, check them out. I mean, where else are you gonna find a Japanese werewolf samurai movie? Nowhere. I mean, these movies are one of a kind. Go check them out. 10 out of 10 would recommend. I'm gonna wrap up the video here in a sec. Thank you all for watching. Peace out.